Well, as if this weren't enough, in the middle of all the steroid nonsense that Vince is trying to battle through, and business being down and guys not being happy with their payoffs and saying they're going to sit at home, this is also the era where the Chuck Austin thing is going to trial. Now, we've talked about this in our Rockers episode, but we should briefly mention that Chuck Austin is an enhancement talent, is going to suffer a broken neck at a December 1990 television taping against the Rockers. The trial began on April 19th, and the injury comes when Marty Jannetty does a move where he puts his leg over Austin's neck and jumps down. And Austin lands on his head instead of his face, and that paralyzes him from the neck down. And Austin files suit in 1991, suing Marty Jannetty, Shawn Michaels, and Titan. We've talked about this before, but one of the expert witnesses brought in by Titan is Dean Malenko. The other is Killer Kowalski. Whereas if you're looking for somebody to saddle up against Vince McMahon, Chuck Austin brings in Bruno Sammartino. Golly, what a tangled mess where you've got your top draw now testifying against you. And that was, I guess 2 generations ago, but 1 generation ago, it's all in the paper that you helped cover up the fact that he has AIDS and you're on, trial for your life for 20 years and your business is down. And your top draw is now going to show up for the competition next month in the biggest super pay-per-view that you had a chance to book, but didn't. Fuck, you kind of feel bad for Vince in this era. It's like, how much more can he take? A decision, of course, comes down in this Chuck Austin case. He's awarded $26.7 million by a jury on April 29th. Originally they were only asking for 3.8 million, and then eventually asks for 7 million, but they decide to just stack it up. The jury awards 4.2 million for medical bills and rehab, 16 million for pain and suffering. His wife is going to get 5.5 million for her suffering, and his 2 sons are going to get $500,000 apiece because, their father has been limited in what he can do for them now. So unbelievable that all of this is happening at the same time, is it not?
Yeah, and it really is, but it also goes to the testament. Everybody likes to say bad shit about Vince McMahon, and I'm often painted as the Vince McMahon apologist. But when you look at the facts and you get down to the nitty gritty, I like to share the story that Jerry McDevitt shared with us. Jerry McDevitt was Vince's attorney throughout all of this, still is. And McDevitt tells a story of like during this very time period where everything was coming down and it seemed every day we were hit with what's next, another bombshell. Well, this one's coming down the pike. These guys are suing you for this. These guys are going to sue you for that. This one's doing this. And McDevitt and Vince had been at the office all day long, and it was a late night, and they're coming out of Vince's office. And Nick, the janitor, was in the hallway. And all Vince wanted to do was get the hell out of the office. It was like he and McDevitt were done. They wanted to get out. And when Vince saw Nick there, Vince sat there and talked to Nick for 20 minutes about his wife, who was going through some hard times at home. And there was nothing more important to Vince at that point than Nick and his family. All the shit that was raining down on him. And Vince just sat there and put his briefcase down and sat down and bullshitted with Nick the janitor, who had been with the company a few years, great guy. And that's the shit that his world's, to some people, is collapsing all around him, and he's holding it all up and still just worried about everybody else. And that's shit you don't hear about. That's the shit that people go, yeah, okay, wow, he did that. No, that's the kind of shit he does, every day and does it but you just don't hear about. And that's what pains me when you look at all this and they kept heaping all this, but Nick the janitor would never know that. All he knew was Vince McMahon at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, while he's in cleaning the office, sat down and talked with him and made him feel better for that day. So, yes, there was just shit after shit after shit every day that came on us, and I would say it probably wore on us more. I know it wore on Vince, but he was never going to let it show. And he would always be the one to reassure us, just put your head down, let's get through it. We know what the facts are. If we stay with the facts, we stay with what's happening, we take care of our business, everything else is going to take care of itself. So let's muster through and do what we have to do. If we have to pay our dues, we pay our dues, and we move the fuck on. And that's what we did.
I guess we should mention, these lawsuits in this era keep coming, because I think 94 is the year where Ventura won his settlement as well. Did he not?
It was around that time. Yeah. Jesse won a lawsuit on the videotapes.
Like 810 grand, right?
Something like that. Yeah. It was a hefty amount.
It's just amazing to me that, you got the Chuck Austin thing and the Ventura thing, and the steroid thing all at the same time. I mean, really the same timeline. And this Chuck Austin thing sort of opens the floodgates, because another enhancement talent in the Tampa area, James Gosseski, is going to sue Titan Sports and Tatanka over neck and back and other injuries that he says happened on a March 9th, 1992 television taping, saying that Tatanka didn't follow the script and injured him. And then after he alerted him that he was injured, Tatanka continued to pound on him. Golly, what a precedent that we set here. Were you nervous when this Chuck Austin thing came down that, man, it's like the old telephone, telegram, telewrestlers, this is going to be a thing now where everybody's going to sue because they were hurt?
Well, obviously the Chuck Austin deal was an extremely serious accident, and that was something that paralyzed him, and he was in a really, really bad way. That, it's an unfortunate accident. I don't know how else to say it. You don't want that to happen to anybody. You don't want that to happen to your worst enemy. But it does shed light on, okay, what do we do to help prevent these kind of accidents? Is there better training on the other side? Is there better training on our side? Is there, some better way to screen who we're going to use for our events? And for years, the business had been conducted in a certain way that you use, hey, this is a good guy. He's a good worker. He can work with anybody. Can you do this? Yeah, kid, I can do it. Okay, great. We'll go do it. And they didn't know. So the screening process needed to be improved. And that's what it forced us to do. But I think it did for some people that, may have just made a wrong turn and got an injury versus a serious accident or something, to try and milk it for more than it was worth. And I'm not familiar with the other case with Tatanka at all, but the Chuck Austin one was one that just made us sit up and take notice and say, what do we need to do to make this a safer work environment for everybody involved?